Can you hear me? Can you hear me? All the conveners ran away. What do we do?
2 minutes.
Sure.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Students, research scholars, and participants who are present here and online. I believe you are all having wonderful time at HINT '25. Myself, Mohandas Shenoy, Professor of Practice from School of Computer Engineering. I welcome you all to yet another exciting afternoon keynote session. It's my honor and privilege to introduce Mr. Vadiraja Bhatt. He's going to deliver a keynote titled From Data to Discovery, Rethinking Innovation in the Gen AI Era. Vadiraj Bhatt is a principal engineer at Cloudera Inc. with over 30 years of experience in enterprise system software, distributed systems, and high-performance data platforms. He has played a pivotal role in architecting scalable database engines, cloud-native analytics platforms, and Gen AI solutions using vector databases. Previously, he led Cisco's UCS data center solutions and benchmarking team in APJC, delivering innovative architectures for edge analytics, video intelligence, and large-scale enterprise applications. At Sybase, he has contributed to the core adaptive server enterprise and Sybase IQ engines, driving performance for OLTP and analytics workloads. Vadiraja holds 6 US patents in the areas of data management and distributed systems, covering innovations in memory management, XML query processing, transaction logging, and buffer caching. An IIT Mumbai alumnus, he has published industry benchmarks, represented Cisco in global forums, and actively collaborates with academia. He also leads social and cultural initiatives and has been recognized with multiple awards for both technical and community impact. I would really stress this point that he's a founder of non-profit OSAT, one school at a time, with a mission to rebuild rural government schools across India. He's my friend and he's my batchmate, and I studied with him, Vadi, and I'm proud to have you here. Kindly, you agreed to grace the occasion, and a warm welcome to you, Vadi. I fondly call him as Vadi. Stage is all yours, Vadi.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mohan. Really appreciate it. Thank you, folks. I know it's very hard sitting here after lunch, right? How many are still awake? Yeah, you. Love it. I know. I'm not going to make it a very research-heavy discussion. I know that's kind of, you've already done and dusted. I'm a practitioner. What matters to me is where is the practical implications, impact. So I'm more of a practitioner, but I want to kind of, I enjoy research, by the way. I really enjoy research because it's some things that really had changed. I've seen in the last 32 years from where I was with the database industry, when I was optimizing for a memory of 16 gig, that was considered as way too much, right? And at that time when we moved to 64 gig, we called it as VLDB, very large database. That was 64 gig. Now it's like my phone is, has more memory than, those 64 gig. So we have come a long way. We have seen so many inflection points, so many changes in the industry, the way they are looking at it. And we have seen these disruptions way often, from the time when it was silos of computing system to a distributed network system, then to a .com, right? And then to AI/ML, now to generative AI. And then we have seen whole bunch of transformations, and every transformations, believe me, we were scared to death, because something that is disrupting the whole ecosystem. But one thing that I can assure you is that it just opened up whole bunch of opportunity for us. So this is, of course, this is a disruption. The thing is, it also on the other side, it's going to bring whole lot of different opportunities for you to think differently and act differently. And that is a perspective that I wanted to give here today. So it's not a whole lot of technical, but I kind of want to get the industry perception and the practitioner perception of it. So the main area now that we are looking into is where evolution from a rule-based into Gen AI. Earlier we had a bunch of rules, and we would kind of stipulate saying that, hey, if that happens this way, this happens that way, you do that, you do this, kind of thing. Now we are a free-flow conversations. We now have MCPs, where you can build a system that can kind of think for itself, right? And that's the kind of the world that's kind of moving into. What's next, I don't know. But I would like to kind of exploit what's right now in terms of the opportunity that we have with the Gen AI. Second is, Gen AI is a collaborator. I kind of always, at this point in time, I've been collaborating with it for the last probably 1.5 to 2 years. It's a lovely collaborator. I mean, believe me, it's unbelievable the way it can collaborate with you, right? So it is somebody whom you can have a very nice conversation with, and somebody who won't judge you, right? So that's a beauty to have, right? Nobody to comment whether you're stupid or idiot. Still, it's a very nice companion. That don't get used to it emotionally. Get used it for work, right? You don't want to get tied up. And I know I've seen a lot of these youngsters are now becoming happily managing their life with just mobile and then talking to ChatGPT. It's like, oh my God, please get out of that. So what's different now, right? From a data perspective, right? So essentially in the past, data was currency. How many have you heard this talk? Right? Data was currency, because from data you would then derive insights, right? But then again, it was built using some sort of heuristics or predictive analytics based on what the data you have. So more the data, you could have more accuracy or more diversity in terms of your analytics. And then, but it was predominantly a static set of data, and the volume was kind of, what we wanted. Larger the data, your accuracy will go, right? That's what you have seen in your all machine learning and training, right? It's still the case, but the thing is, now we are now trying to get insight directly from it, from what we have built, with those kind of data, with those kind of corpus, where we have now started to believe, right? Because when you see a bunch of data, let's human-wise, you start to pay attention, right? That's the transformer, 101, right? You pay attention to few parts of it, right? And that was not the case before. We kind of said, hey, every data is important, right? Every piece of it, so give me more, find out patterns, all those kind of things, right? Now that we are able to mimic how our neurons are kind of storing these weightages in your neurochemical transmitters, now we are able to say, why can't I just only look at some part of data? Let's start giving some insights, right? So from where the silo was, where we were saying volume, generate, and then get that volume to only get that accuracy, is now kind of transferring into give me insights, right? That's more is about. We also saw in the past, it was all about, based on the data, you would say what happened, right? Because you will only do post-mortem, correct? Something has happened, I want to know what has happened. Now then, based on that, I will predict what next can happen. But we will never privy to opportunities there, what could happen, what all can happen, right? What all opportunities? That's a beautiful, options right in front of you, because you can have 10 different scenarios and then start to think towards that. Whether what if that happens? What if that happens? Right? Can I exploit this? Can I exploit this? Right? So that is a whole different ballgame. You're not worried about what happened, because what happened is already captured in those weightages. Those 7 billion parameters or 8 billion parameters that you have, it is already had it. So why do you care about what happened? Right? What is important is what can happen. And those 8 billion parameters are now going to give you what is the next can happen, could happen. Right? And then the other aspect is synthesizing the patterns. Right? So earlier you had one set of data, and then you would have some observation on that set of data. And then you have another set of data, it has its own observation. There is no cross correlation between, right? You couldn't get that cross correlation unless you bring in normalization, unless you kind of bring into the same context and do a lot of processing, right? Now I can get this, cross correlation. I can ask data about 2 pieces of data and say, hey, how can get these kind of things related? What could be the connection? Based on those 7 billion parameters, it can start to think, right? That is the insight that it's very valuable for you, right? So one of the use case that I think most of us have seen is we would collect a lot of information about patients. We used to, right? In the past, we have tons of, right? But the treatments are the same. I mean, you go, you say X-ray, what's the deal here? You will just, write whatever it is. But now you can get a lot more information about the patient and start to kind of do pointed intervention. It could be a cold, but why cold so many times? Why? What could be the gene issue? Could it be the environment issue? Could it be your habits, lifestyle, all of that? Those kind of insights is what is important, right? And that is where we are more into proactive care, right? World is moving towards, and that's where you get better quality of life. If you keep guzzling more and more medicine, you are no more willpower. It will become pill power, right? That's where you kind of get addicted to those kind of pills, right? So you need to improve the quality of life. How can I improve it? Can I be more proactive? Can I get more insights, right? That is where the healthcare is kind of trying to move, right? So what this means is that you will have to change your focus from deterministic thinking into probabilistic and exploratory, right? We hate that, correct? Who wants probabilistic? But thing is, this is where it is more likely to succeed with such new ideas than being just a deterministic and predetermined set of hypotheses, right? It's extremely important, right? If you want to survive, enjoy chaos. If you are not appreciating chaos, if you are very comfortable with where you are likely to leave behind, likely to be left behind, right? But if you like chaos, if you like this non-deterministic perspective, start thinking, start appreciating it, right? Now, some of the studies, I just don't want it because it's a HINT conference, health-wise. There are a lot of importance is given to make use of these in the day-to-day use cases, especially with medical fraternity. I'm sure the hospital here must be already equipped with predictive analytics, right? They might look at X-ray, they might figure out, or an MRI and say, hey, what is the chances that this guy has cancer or whatnot? That's still a predictive. But then, if I can look back and look at that MRI and figure out what all possibly would have led to that particular cause. Right now, I can only probably look at that and say it's whether it is a cancer or not. What likelihood of that is a cancer or not. Right? What if I can go back and look at that and say what all possible reasons why you could get here, or what all possible treatment options that I have, or what all possible diagnostics path that can lead to that particular state. That is a lot of information for a physician, right? Today, if you look at the physicians, they are bogged down like crazy. I mean, you just go, I don't know, have you been to Manipal Hospital here? How many of you have been here? An MRI? Oh my God, that's like a nightmare. Because here, you look at the doctor, the radiologist, I feel more tired just looking at him because he's so tired. So they need to do qualitative analysis. And can you imagine just looking at that in after 100th MRI throughout the day being awake? Yes, you will do. I mean, I'm not saying they will not do, but what if there's more aid for that doctor to not do the mundane thing, but generate some interesting kind of observations that he can explore, or he or she can explore. That is where this Northwest Medicine is where they are focusing. Ideally, what they want to do is to kind of improve the quality of the diagnosis so that they can do a pointed intervention rather than a generic based treatment. That's when your effectiveness will go down. If it is an pointed intervention, you have better chances of actually succeeding in terms of your outcome, right? And the Gen AI systems, this is in Coca-Cola where they are now creating. I'm sure you guys have not been used to an HR system, right? You haven't been. But school management system, think of it, right? You don't have to go stand in line and ask a question saying that, hey, when is my last day? I'm sure you know, but you still want to there double sure all of it, right? Or what's the policy of bringing your girlfriend or boyfriend into hostel, all those kind of things, right? What if you can talk to the data, right, to the system, in whichever way you want. All of that is kind of, right now, is where HR, where there are 100 people sitting behind and answering your questions, is gone are the days. It's good and bad, because it will answer 80% of your questions, but there are still 20%, still you need experts to answer, but still 80% is large. So the HR is completely now a bilingual or multilingual vocabulary. In fact, the OSAT that he talked about, we have done an integration into their day-to-day learning. You know how? We have created a chatbot for each chapter. So the child can ask any number of questions about that chapter. And it can converse with it. What if that happens? What if this happens? Right? Imagine the power of it. If you want a constitution, somebody is reading a constitution, how many times you fell asleep reading constitution? It's kind of such boring thing, right? What if you make it interactive? You could ask, hey, is it constitutionally right if I do this? Is it constitutionally right if that happens, if this happens? What are my rights as? So those kind of interaction is making learning better, right? Similarly, with all the enterprises, they kind of want to do their HR being conversational. They don't want somebody actually looking at each and every document and say, hey, is your leave policy is this, or is your maternity policy is that, your sick policy is this. No need. You can converse, and they can point directly to the document very quickly, because otherwise you would have read the document. How many of you have signed it blindly? It'll be 100 pages. You say sign here. Yeah, you'll sign. But we don't know what is in it. What if we can converse, right? And that is what, companies like Coca-Cola are kind of removing those back, what we call back office jobs and have these conversations. So it was already there as chatbot. Many of you have seen already. Support is already now being a chatbot centric. And they've also improved their logistics, especially with the cooling system. The beverage has to go from one place to another place, right? The amount of cooling energy that is needed is enormous to keep it fresh, to ensure that it maintains its temperature, right? So they are kind of now automating, figuring it out based on the data and the lifestyle and the event and all of it. Now they can put a map saying that, hey, this is where how much energy is needed for them to actually manage that cooling system. And once you start to do that, that's a lot of savings that you can think of. Otherwise, you would have had static rules saying that on a movie that releases with this, or which is like done by Rishabh Shetty, you would need a lot of Coca-Cola, right? And then you need to kind of plan for that. Instead, you have these intelligent systems that kind of learn and then kind of generate details so that you can take it forward. Now, my main love is this in the big data areas, right? I think one of the big things that has happened is that the moment we wanted to do analytics by these computers, first thing we wanted is some sort of a schema, right? Why? Because the way those numbers are, crunched and understood is only possible if there is a schema so that you can write a program to do that, right? Otherwise, without the schema, it's difficult, right? Either write schema at the time of write or schema at the time of read. One of the two you would have to have. And then it was very predictive. You write algorithms, oh, you can do that. Now, but if you look at from a human perspective, many of them, when they kind of look at the situation and say, oh, I know what it is. Why is that? Because you don't need to structure your data, right? There are certain things that are kind of kept understood by the data, because many times, let's say for a doctor, he looks at a bunch of data and says, oh yeah, I know what it is. Why? Right? Because those attentions that were given to those kind of pieces of information and correlated, you don't need a schema, right? And that's when this Gen AI, where it is combining this structured and unstructured data source, whatever it is, to give you that edge, right? As a big data analytics, that is huge for me, right? Second one is the hypothesis generation. In many of our problems, we were actually having tunnel vision. What do you mean by tunnel vision? You're only focusing on one particular hypothesis, or we go by that and collect the data, right? Why do they fail? Many of the research, because of this tunnel vision. They fail to see the other side, right? Here you can have this conversation. You can say, generate hypothesis. This is the data. Why do you think data came here? So you can have so many different hypotheses, right? With which you can kind of validate or invalidate or converse or restructure your thinking. That's huge, right? In good old days, I mean, I did my BI course back in 1994, and the best thing was that I had 2 or 3 samples to do with my CNN. By then, I'm kind of dead, because it would run into 100 pages, and if I have to write a program in C or Fortran and whatnot, it would just run into some pages, right? But this is not the case now, right? You can generate so many different hypotheses to work with. And more importantly, you can have a nice visual representation of this system. That's when it starts to click, right? Having those visual representations right away gives you perspective on such amount of data. And you don't need special BI tools. If I wanted visualization today, I'll have to spend a lot of money on Power BI and whatnot to go ahead and create those charts and write all those kind of things, pivot table, that is. No need. You'll create nice visualizations so that you start, and different visualizations, God knows, right? You can have different visualizations, right? You can ask those questions. And the more important thing that I spoke before is talk to the data. You can start conversing with that data, right? start asking questions on those insights. And that is very valuable today because that brings every one of you, without having to write sophisticated algorithms, right, to actually start processing the data. In good old days, you would have had to know Python, R, that, this. You're an expert, no need. Because world is giving you that opportunity. So you can talk to the data, right? How many of you have tried that? Show of hands? Love it. You should. I mean, I'm only seeing one. But this is useful because I'm using it every day. It's so useful, right? So this analytic company called Analytics 8, right? They have, I mean, including my company. Why am I? I'm just taking one use case, right? So we have. I work on various open source projects. If I want to know the project, I just go and ask questions like Cursor. Hey, tell me, what the hell is this? And then only thing is, you will have to have the domain information to converse. You can't be like, just I don't know anything, right? So you would have to have a domain information. So what you're learning today is all about those domains. But that will enable you to ask questions related to that domain. If it is about data processing, it is about data consistency, it is about durability, it is about scaling, etc., etc. You can start to ask, right? Based on that context. So you will have your learning curve is now shortened so much that you can become expert of any open source projects in no time, right? That is where it is democratizing because then every one of you are on the same level as long as your creativity is in play, right? It's not memory based anymore. Okay. From a networking perspective, I can give you quite a lot of. This was actually we had used it long ago in Cisco. How much time do I have? Sorry. 2:40. Right? Yeah. I'll have another 20 minutes. Okay. So from a networking perspective, there are a lot of use cases, right? Especially when it comes to security, because today we have. Of course, right? Any technology with that, there comes good actors and bad actors, right? So being able to kind of identify patterns, right, of threat level and various intrusions, right? It's extremely valuable because your security system can be so secured to 5 nines. That means 99.99999. 9. You can add another. But even that 0.00001, one instance of it can bring down your system and can cause havoc. Right? Because a lot of these things you must have seen already. Big companies kind of losing their data and liable for lawsuits. And they just, with one instance, they'll close their company. That's it. Because liability is huge. Right? So that becomes huge in terms of anomaly detections and intrusion detections. Second one is the traffic itself. We are in a scalable system, right? You keep adding more and more data, more and more users as we expand. We want to scale, as if it is adding another capacity. But most of our systems where we have not really understood the limits when we are designing. As a network topology engineer, I would have designed something based on the limits that I thought is kind of, considered large at that time. I told you, right? I moved from 16 bits to 32 bits to 64 bits. It's like, wow, when I was at from 16 to 32, I thought it's not going to be, for a while before it runs away. But 32 became, obsolete in no time. Now 64, that's not even enough. So we are moving into petabytes, amount of data and petabyte amount of information exchange. So obviously the limits are always being tested. So you cannot design for it. But then can I have now a way to identify issues and then scale and prevent downtimes, or at least ensure service level agreements? When I say service level agreements, that means if somebody has subscribed saying that I want a response in 3 seconds, a system should do its best to ensure that the response time is with 3 seconds, right? By looking at various aspects, where it is going, who's asking, doing reshuffling and reprioritizing all on its own in real time, right? And that's when this Gen AIs will help, because you can start to ask questions. Hey, this is what is happening. You don't need to build a predictive system. Problem with the predictive system, when the new ones are coming, old one is obsolete, and then you have to update again. Not good. Instead, you can keep asking questions, and you can also ask what if scenarios. Hey, right? And I have a nice illustration later. I'll tell you. And then the edge AI. This is the another powerful thing that we have, and in fact, I kind of worked on this system where at the edge, where the devices are kind of collecting the data. For example, this traffic camera that we have. If I can, at that edge, if I can identify an intruder and do facial recognition, and right there I can send notifications right to the security. That is edge analytics, right? And then you can converse those systems, in fact, whether to see whether that guy is really threat or not, right? That systems can then talk back to backend to AI to figure out, hey, what can I do? What should I be doing? Who should be notified? All that thing to kind of have those edge-based interactions. So that's a very powerful use case right now of moving a lot of thinking from in the center core brain into various edge, so that they can autonomously take decisions at the edge, right? So that's on the Gen AI networking. Now, this is a very interesting use case, right? So you have a physical data center, right? Meaning that there's a lot of servers, there are a lot of networking equipment, and today with the AI, right, these mega data centers are coming up left and right in everywhere. Visakhapatnam, you must have heard that Google is bringing up that AI data center. Yes? So one of the biggest challenge about here is making these machines, run without interruption. Now, there are multiple issues involved. One is the power. Obviously, you know how hard it is in India to have a very predictable power pattern, right? The reason is a lot of these racks takes massive amount of power. It's not even megawatts, it's now gone to gigawatts, right? Each rack is about 12 kVA, 16 kVA racks, which means it's generating enormous amount of heat, which means it needs enormous amount of cooling. But then you can just, put a massive AC and start to cool, then your data center will be horribly expensive, right? So you will have to kind of design your data center to be optimized in such a way so that you can use your HVAC in a way that it is cost optimized. So what they have done in a lot of these things is they have taken this physical data center, created a twin data center, which is nothing but just software versions of it, because all of it, everything that is controlling is software, correct? All your hardware, that networking gear or your HVAC, everything is nothing but those softwares that are talking, right? What if you clone that and run it in a place, just the control system, right? Just the controls that are doing, and feed this data, whatever that is coming in the data center. That means you are getting temperature sensors, you are getting network details, network, all those kind of network traffic, all of. Feed the same data to this system, and then start to tell them, hey, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? And they will start to respond differently, right? You can play with that, and one of those systems can talk to, right, with an MCP, can give various scenarios to this twin data center, and that can optimize without actually touching your data center. And then once you are kind of did all the corner cases study, did all the validation, then you can start to do a rolling upgrade. So you can have a better cooling system. They have looked at saying that, hey, if I'm doing a training, that requires a lot of CPUs, right? So they can focus the training on few racks or few few aisles, and then only have pointed air coolers in that area, not the entire system, right? Because they are running at full speed. Similarly, on the networking side, when there are a lot of data that is happening, you can have a rerouting mechanism only to those kind of ones that are kind of exchanging massive amount of data rather than keeping up everybody at that level, right? So this is going to be where it starts to talk to that twin data center with LLMs, and then gives a lot of this data, and then says, hey, give me a scenario where I can optimize it. And then apply that back to the data center and see if that helps. And then constantly update this model, right? So HP has done this, it's a wonderful case study, it's very interesting. And these things are where people are looking at in optimizing. And you can apply it anywhere. Where you want a control system that is driving those points, clone it, start the LLM to talk to them. Give all the various scenarios. Make sure that they keep getting this data and they keep responding. What if you build a system that actually replicates that, right? So that is that's when the data and the LLMs, they are talking to each other, can generate some wonders. So I kind of wanted to, as I mentioned before, is a collaboration, right? As I told you upfront itself, it's that having those different hypotheses is eye-opener. I mean, I have myself, when I'm looking at some of the codes, I still look at the code. Yet Asman is saying, oh my God, I never knew this, right? It's just a very new, fresh thoughts. And then I can focus most on the solution, right? And solving the solution and trying to figure out the boundaries and all of it, right, through this hypothesis. And then one good thing is also about getting your reviews. How many times you have tried to get a quality review? Now it's easier because this is a world-class reviewer, correct? It can point out all the things where you could go wrong, possibly a clash of whatever, right? Or if you're innocently, I mean, this is very good for those who are kind of doing review. I can just feed and say, hey, tell me where all it came from, right? It's very, very, very convenient. And more importantly, for your research, for your topic, it can design so many different experiments, right? Which otherwise would have been impossible unless you're an extremely domain expert. And the data. Very important is getting those data to validate your hypothesis. Now it's pretty simple, right? Designing those experiments, generating those data, it becomes a lot easier, right? Now, so what does this human AI collaboration mean, right? Where I kind of want to now have this is you are looking at as a co-creator, not as a tool. If you are using it as a tool, you are just, you are using a cannon to kill a fly. It has to be a co-creator, right? And you also need to be very aware of this ethical, issues associated with it. When you create, you have to be very clear about, how you create it, who owns what. Because if that happens to be coming from ChatGPT or somebody, and that, if you claim that is yours, you are in deep trouble in academic world. You have to be very careful. And ethically, you need to be very clear. Yes, you did the collaboration, no problem. We all respect that. But you have to make sure that ethically you are transparent. How you collaborated, what you collaborated, right? And that's where I see, I mean, a lot of our so-called education system today, if you look, I don't know, right? It's all about shortcuts, right? Because they have been ingrained, right? If you look at those guys who are working for CET, JEE, all of it, everybody wants shortcut. Why? You want to get marks. That's not going to work, right? That's unfortunately a wrong way to, right? if you do shortcuts and do those kind of things, I'm sure you are already tried, but you will get into trouble. Definitely in long term, perhaps in short term itself, if somebody is smart enough to catch you, right? And the only thing is that it will just drown your credibility. But then you can use it as a collaborator. Like you can have those discussions, right? And use as a augmenting human capabilities. Your issue is not able to kind of, you know the concept, you know what the data you want, you kind of know how you want to process, but you don't have set of data, right? Or you don't know the hypothesis around your hypothesis, which can contradict or collaborate. You can have this discussion. Or you may not know all the experiments that is out there to actually validate your hypothesis. You can still use that. So you can use it as a collaborator. But be very, very, very clear, right? And that's when you start to exploit the system, and then that's when your productivity will also increase substantially, right? So what is the new mindset then, right? So one of the things that I like about is you should have a discipline, definitely, right? But then there is also uncertainty. If everything is certain and disciplined, if everything is certain, someone else would have already figured this out. There is nothing new in that, right? Because it is uncertain, right? People have not figured out what it is already. That's the reason why it is uncertain, and that's when you have a better chance. So you should start to accept this uncertain aspects, right? And then don't expect to solve the world problem. See, one of our biggest challenges is that we are more and more wanting to solve everything that comes to our mind, right? Or we consider ourselves all or nothing approach. Either I achieve everything or there is nothing, right? That is a mental blockade. Perhaps that is how we are taught. I mean, our education system is always that, right? You have to learn all these subjects. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's how it is, right? That's fine. That's for education. But when it comes to research and your application, right, there is a middle path to get there, right? Start working with those uncertain things, right? And more importantly, ask questions, right? This is where I kind of feel bad, because our education system has never incentivized asking questions, correct? If somebody asks a question, then either that person is seen as stupid or is seen as arrogant, right? We have been always, if somebody asks a question saying, and everybody looks at me, what's wrong with you? So that has been from day one. And that's unfortunately is a limitation and liability for you guys, right? So you need to have ability to ask these kind of questions that are relevant and or even, it doesn't matter, relevant. I don't want to solve it. It's not relevant. Ask any question, doesn't matter. But start to ask questions. That's more important for you. And then combine this diverse perspective. Lot of innovations have happened because of diverse perspective, not because of just singularity, right? I was just reading the other day that, how many of you know about MRI? You know MRI, right? Does anybody know where the origin of that particular, who actually figured that out? You know? Very interesting, right? It was an astrophysicist who was observing that these molecules or the atoms perform differently when a magnetic field is kind of exposed, right? He's the guy who figured this out, right? Saying that, oh, there is nothing. Right? So he's the one who figured it out, saying that, hey, magnetic fields actually kind of influence this. atoms, right? They respond differently. And then that was there, and he was an astrophysicist. He looked at some stars, and he said, oh yeah, there's something is happening. That was in 1940. And in 1970, somebody figured that out. Oh my God, I can use it to scan my body, right? And that is interdisciplinary. Where is astrophysics and where is medicine and electronics, right? And that is what is going to get rewarded for you if you in future think about it. You have to be interdisciplinary in terms of your thinking, right? And then there are risks, obviously. I don't know how many of you have read the news about Deloitte generating a report to, I think, one of the government. I don't know, right? It had so many errors. Somebody just figured out saying, oh, I'm going to use ChatGPT, generate a report. It had so many errors, right? It was totally embarrassing for such a company to go and present an international report of an international implication and then being ridiculed. So you have to be extremely careful about using this data. That's why I said ethically make sure that factually things are right. It can throw you a lot of different ways, but don't accept it. You will have to question that. You have to verify that. You have to know that that's right. Right? You can use it, no question about it, right? And it can hallucinate. Definitely it can hallucinate. There are ways that it will, but then there are mechanisms to kind of reduce that hallucination, right? You can use RAG techniques and those kind of things. But then beware that you have to validate it, at least now, right? We are not there yet to kind of accept everything, and please don't. Right? Be careful. It's, as I told you, it's a collaborator. You are not just dumping it on everybody and then dumping it on it and expect that to solve the problem. No, that's not the case, right? So the last one that I kind of want to do is don't over rely on AI. It's as I said, it's a collaborator. You still have to work. You have to be creative. You have to put your effort. No question about it. Only thing that I think is your productivity will be much higher, right? What would take 10 days or 20 days, 30 days, you can do it in 1 day. That is where you still need to do that work. So that's where I'm saying you still have to work. Don't over rely on AI, right? So this I've made through democratizing, meaning that everybody is same level. You are not, somebody is good at R, Python, is not going to get any edge over it. It's now all your programming, you need to know what programming is, what concepts are, but you don't need to memorize. All you need to do is, if they write code, you should know how to debug that and then figure that out. There is something going on right? But the only thing is that it can accelerate the breakthroughs, because that's where I said your productivity will improve. It will accelerate your breakthroughs, and that's quite important. And only thing that provides you is you have no new models to do all your inquiries. It need not be one. It could be 100 different things for you to discuss, talk to through MCP, or to actually have those conversations. You are not limited, and you can create your own model, by the way, right? And the opportunity is tremendous right now, right? Again, it's co-creating, right? As I said, it's a partner, and you have to rethink your roles as who you are. Are you a creator, right? And those creators are now going to be much more in demand than just followers. And unfortunately, our system has kind of created a lot of followers, but we need to switch our roles and to become creators. Okay? Anyway, this is where I want to stop. So I think the quote that I really want to highlight is, it's not that somebody is successful just because they have all answers, right? It will be those, right, who can ask very proactive and question that is not normal, right? That's when you find new avenues, because answers, it is now plenty, right? So I think even your ways to check your expertise in exams in future might change, No more questions. I mean, why do you want to know? Right? How do you want to know? I mean, the system can tell you. So it's not memory based anymore. It need not be. It has to be creativity. How creatively you can ask questions, right? So the most transformative question is what gets rewarded, and then the answer comes up, because answer is already there. So the question is not, right? So with that thought, I will stop. I hope I'm on time.
Yeah.
I'm on time?
Yeah, you're on.
Okay. Hope I didn't bore you guys. Any questions? I'll be very happy to answer.
Absolutely, you are not boring, Buddy. It's been wonderful hearing you whenever I meet you. It's so insightful. I mean, I enjoyed it, and I would like to ask the audience, the students, research scholars, any questions for Vadiraj Bhatt? Anyone? I can pass the mic. Yeah.
I just talked about who has the best question, right? Now you can see that. No issues. Yeah, go ahead.
So AI is a collaborator.
Yes.
So now the AI collaborator will also learn in the way what we ask the question. It becomes better and better as it collaborates.
Correct.
So the collaborator AI provider will be some big company.
That's what.
Now
Okay.
it became better. So because I collaborated with it, so I benefited, yes, but I am paying also still, also my data and the training experience it got from my collaboration, it also is taken by that big organization. So what are the ethical consideration about this?
Again, I think it's a capitalistic world. Having these LLMs built now, it takes massive amount of money, right? So I need something, somebody who's investing it needs something out of it, right? So obviously they want to kind of have you as a captivated audience to get better, and I'm aware of it, right? You are getting, so it's a, if you see that as a win-win situation, because they are winning because they have invested, you are winning because it's improving your productivity. In the bargain, are you kind of giving out your knowledge and making it better? Absolutely, right? So what you are left with is, are you benefited or are you exploited? Right? If you feel that you are exploited, then you need to stay away from those systems. Right? Today, one thing, I mean, if you look at in the past, right, closed system versus open systems. Think of it, right? I want to bring this. There's, we had Oracle database, Sybase database. They were all very close systems. Nobody knows what happens, right? Then came the open, open source. Anybody can know, right? So anybody can get better, right? Now anybody can write a database. So the collaboration of not just you, the world itself will start to improve the way that you kind of did on it. And that's what open source people start to take pride in. Because they kind of started that. And that collaboration is not just with the LLM, right? It's with the world. Now you are exposed to somebody building a model in Norway. Why not? Yes, you are giving it. Of course, it's going to be shared. But if you kind of appreciate the effort of community and the collaborative capabilities of the community, then you want to use it. Otherwise, yes, no question about it, because they have spent a lot of money. And that will continue to do. By the way, in few years, I mean, you have already seen Chinese model kind of beat the crap out of, right, with so less in terms of amount of training costs that they incur. It's going to come down. It's going to come down. Just like how I said 14 gigabyte was where I was kind of struggling, 16 gigabyte. Now it is in 256. So your training will be somewhere in your car, in your back of your car, saying that I'm going to train my own model. Compute will come down.
So I have a second question too.
Yes.
So from the socialistic point of view, so they have AI have permeated everywhere in the life of people. So governments cannot, they are not technically trained to make policies, though they are making, still they're not technical people. So there are limitations for government to manage these things. So enormous power to influence people's life is in the hands of few companies, so which are not democratic. So, so what do you have to say about it?
First and foremost, we should stop thinking that government will protect us. Government is not there to protect us. Never they will protect us, right? Because no regulation will ever work. It has not worked in, even in autocratic countries. Think of it, right? It won't work. Because the explosion is too much. Now, where I kind of want to focus is on education. This is where I start, giving emphasis on ethical, issues and understanding the implications, right? That's the reason why I'm worried about people over-relying on AI, right? They need to be aware of it. As I said, I'm a collaborator. I'm not going to surrender. The moment I surrender, that means I'm actually giving up my creativity. The focus is on, you are still the creative boss, and that is still a creative collaborator. As long as you understand that, right, and that's when the educators and the ecosystem has to be strong enough to constantly kind of keep telling them or to enforce that. Even in your course, I would love to have some of this course kind of being offered and have them experience such scenarios where they are aware what the implication is, right? I remember, the troublemakers, we always kind of blame the troublemakers, right? I was once a troublemaker back in my 80s, so I kind of hacked into SMTP, send a mail to somebody saying that, hey, you are, through a professor saying that, you are kind of playing around, and I see that, you are not doing your research and all. That guy got scared. Overnight, he took all the books and went to the professor and said, I never did this, why you sent this mail to me? And the whole thing, was, put out, notice was sent to the entire, everybody saying that somebody hacked, and if I find out who that is, if I don't know, if I figure out, if I have to figure it out, that person get expelled. So then I lost my sleep, right? I went next day, and then he caught me saying that, oh, wonderful, but why did you do it to him? He's such a nice guy. I would have told you 100 different people who could have, right? But he asked me saying that, good, now I need you to fix that. No one else can do it. So I spent another 1 week figuring it out, how to actually go write SMTP filters and those kind of things. I'm saying, this has to be part of the course. You guys have to kind of, this is where you can bring that awareness, right? The responsibility is on you to bring these kind of boundaries. Where do you stop being collaborator to a servant, right? So, to me, best place is here, not through government. I'm not going to rely on government, sorry. Any other question, guys?
Any questions for Vadiraj?
I'm sure you've asked a lot of questions to LLM, not to me, right?
Vadiraj, I have a question, or rather my observation. You nicely explained about the digital twins. I think that was the SP.
Yes.
Could you just throw more light about how it can be used in, healthcare?
Sure. See, for example, if you are patient care, let's say you get data, assume that, right? Every day, you go to a rounds, right? Doctor goes to a round, visit a patient, nurses interact, all these things generate a lot of digital data. If I'm sure today they are writing prescriptions, goes to that, the doctor goes from operation theater to outpatient to that, discussion, this and all. If you kind of get that data and create a digital twin of those systems that are controlling, who are controlling your patient system, there is a software. You have that as a twin, as a virtual model, right? And have all those control systems you start to ask questions saying that, how do I reduce that doctors based on this data? How do I reduce the response time of that? Let's assume there is a very famous brain surgeon. That guy is going nuts because every day everybody wants him only or her only, right? So what can you do? You can start to ask that question, right? Optimize the service time. See, I go here. I mean, I've been to Manipal Hospital so many times because of my relatives, etc., right? So I go spend time in the front line, right? Just to get registered, it takes some 45 minutes. I'm like, I'm coming here as a patient or a caregiver. Should I be standing in a line for 45 minutes? Why should that be, especially in this day? Because even Chai Wala has a scanner, right? Who can just scan and get in. All that they need is administrative, right? So imagine the quality of care, right? And for that, they have created a massive queue system. Early in the morning, some 10 people will be guiding. I'm like, this is, digital era. This cannot be, right? So you can run such systems that are, and in fact you can, I told you, right, different set of data. If you have a camera data of your patients walking in, waiting and all of it, you can do an analysis of that along with your patient system saying that, hey, I have my video captures of these patients and the actual servicing that is done by patients, tell me where the gap is. How can I reduce? The question is, I want to reduce this person. Me going to Manipal Hospital today is a half a day affair. Right? I want to now trace everybody, what was I doing? Why is that the case? Yes, I'm saying those can be a digital twins that you can create and start to ask questions. Right? And also you can be realistic about it, saying that you can't do that, you can't do this. There are people who depend on that, and obviously all those kind of things. Those can be the constraints that you can put them on that. To have these different systems starts to talk to each other.
Thank you, Adi.
I guess that's about it, right? Thank you guys, really appreciate it.
Thank you, Adi Rajapat, for your insightful session.
I'll leave this here, I think. Thank you. I really appreciate all your time. I hope I didn't put you to sleep. If not, please wake up.
A very warm welcome to one and all. I, Deepthi S, faculty in the School of Computer Engineering, will be your host today. It gives me great pleasure to welcome you all to the valedictory ceremony of International Conference on Health Informatics, Intelligent System and Network Technologies, HINT’25, organized by School of Computer Engineering, MIT. Over the past 2 days, we have witnessed enriching sessions, insightful discussion, and a knowledge sharing from experts in the field. Today, as we mark the formal conclusion of this conference, let us celebrate its success and valuable learning it has brought. May I now request Dr. Harsh Nagar to invoke the divine blessing.
Om Ya Kundendu Tushar Har Dhavala Ya Shubhra Vastravrita Ya Veena Varadanda Mandit Kara Ya Shveta Padmasana Ya Brahma Chuta Shankara Prabhriti Devai Sada Vandita Samam Patu Saraswati Bhagavati Neshesha Jadyapaha Neshesha Jadyapaha.
Thank you. Now I request conveners Dr. Radhakrishna Bhatt and Dr. Kishore B to escort the dignitaries to the dais. Thank you, everyone. I invite Dr. Radhika M. Pai, Dean, School of Computer Science, to extend a warm welcome to the gathering.
Respected dignitaries on and off the dais, faculty, staff, students and participants. It's my privilege to welcome you all to the valedictory ceremony of HINT 2025. Today we have with us Mr. Vadiraj Bhatt, Principal Engineer from Cloudera, as the chief guest. On behalf of the School of Computer Engineering, I extend a warm welcome to you. We had a keynote address from him a while ago. The guest of honor for today's function is Dr. Narayan Sabai, Pro Vice Chancellor of Mahin. A hearty welcome to you. The function is presided by the Joint Director, Dr. Chandrakala CP. A warm welcome to you, ma'am. I extend a warm welcome to our sponsors from SBI, Mr. Ramesh and his team. A cordial welcome to all the Associate Directors, HODs, Associate Dean, Conveners, Dr. Kishore and Dr. Radhakrishna Bhatt. Co-conveners, faculty, research scholars, staff and students who have wholeheartedly participated in the events and are here for the function. Last but not the least, I welcome you all.
I welcome you, Radhika ma'am, to this valedictory ceremony. The roses presented now are the handcraft roses made by Asare, an initiative by Archana Trust and Mahe. I invite convener Dr. Kishore B to present the conference report and highlights of two-day event.
Good afternoon, everyone. It gives me immense pleasure to present the conference report of the International Conference on Health Informatics, Intelligent Systems and Networking Technologies HINT’25, organized by the School of Computer Engineering, Manipal Institute of Technology, Manipal Academy of Higher Education, Manipal, which is held for 2 days from October 15th to 16th in hybrid mode. HINT’25 brought together researchers, academicians, industry professionals, and students from across the world to discuss and share innovations in the areas of health informatics, intelligent systems, networking technologies, big data, and data mining. We are proud to share that the conference received a remarkable total of 250 papers from authors representing 8 countries, including Russia, Japan, Malaysia, Nigeria, Philippines, United States of America, Vietnam, and of course from our country, Bharat. After a rigorous peer review process, 45 papers were selected for presentations, reflecting both the quality and diversity of research contributions received this year. Additionally, 2 invited papers, one from Russia and one from Japan, further enriched the technical program and brought valuable international perspectives to our discussions. HINT’25 featured 5 eminent keynote speakers from academia and industry who delivered insightful talks covering the latest research trends, technological advancements, and real-world applications. Their sessions stimulated thought-provoking discussions and encouraged collaboration across disciplines. We were also privileged to have distinguished researchers as session chairs, evaluating the presentations and selecting one Best Paper award from each track, recognizing excellence in research and presentation quality. In addition to the technical sessions, HINT’25 hosted a project expo on account of Innovation Day that was on October 15, 2025, yesterday, that showcased innovative and impactful projects from the students and faculty researchers of the School of Computer Engineering. The exhibits highlighted practical solutions and creative applications in emerging areas of technology, demonstrating the talent and potential of our student community and faculty researchers community. The 2-day conference witnessed engaging interactions, meaningful discussions, and valuable collaborations, offering participants an opportunity to network and explore research ideas that bridge theoretical advancements with real-world implementation. All the accepted papers, registered and presented papers from HINT’25 will be published in the Scopus Indexed Springer Lecture Notes in Networks and Systems (LNNS) conference proceedings. On behalf of the organizing committee, I take this opportunity to thank all the authors, reviewers, speakers, session chairs, participants, and volunteers who made HINT’25 a grand success. We sincerely hope that the conference has provided a rich and rewarding experience to everyone and will inspire continued collaboration, innovation, and research in the years to come. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for the comprehensive summary. Today, we are honored to have with us Dr. Narayan Sabahit, Pro Vice Chancellor, Technology and Science, Mahe Manipal, as our guest of honor. Dr. Sabahit is an eminent academician and researcher serving as a reviewer for Indian Geotechnical Journal. He is a life member of several esteemed professional bodies including Indian Geotechnical Society, the Indian Society for Technical Education, Institution of Engineers, and a Fellow of Indian Association of Structural Engineering. In recognition of his outstanding academic contributions, Dr. Sabahit has been awarded the prestigious Professor Leonard's Award for the Best Doctoral Thesis, submitted to Indian universities. With this brief introduction, I now invite Dr. Narayan Sabahit to deliver his address.
Chief guest of the day, Mr. Vadiraj Bhatt, Joint Director, Dr. Chandrakala, Dean's School of Computer Engineering, Dr. Radhika Mpai, Convener of HINT 2025, Dr. Radhakrishna Bhatt and Dr. Kishore B, co-conveners, the faculty of School of Computer Engineering, the participants of this very important international conference. Good afternoon to all of you. Generally, when I attend, the valedictory functions, not often, most of the time inaugural. Valedictory function means, you will find only very few people attending. Right. Today I could see, the hall is almost full. So thank you for, the being here till the last moment of this conference. Now, if you look at the title, International Conference on Health Informatics, Intelligence Systems and Network Technologies, this is a very relevant topic today. Particularly the health informatics is a growing field. One hand, the health science, particularly the medical, dental, they want to make sure that the patients, when they come, they are comfortable and they will be given the proper treatment within the shorted period of time. If you look at anybody who goes to the hospital, they always think that when I can come back, right? Even when they admit also, you will see that, they keep on asking when I get, the out of this, the hospital. So the reason is, nobody wants to be in the hospital, right? Particularly the patients. So obviously it is the job of the technology and science. They look at us that how best we can serve the patients. So obviously the technology and science comes in hand, and they are the one, the giving support and make sure that, the patients are comfortable in the hospital. Also the doctors, of course, the doctors obviously, they operate, first of all, when they come, they try to diagnose, and then, the giving the treatment, all those things. So in the process, a lot of things are involved, even starting from, when they come, how, the patients can be, patient party can be comfortable, even for the registration itself, right? So nowadays, those things are all automated. The things are very streamlined. In fact, Kasturba Hospital, if you look at, you don't have to go to the hospital. You can just, well in advance, you can, register it. That is quite possible, except maybe the fresh one. Otherwise, you don't have to go. And keeping the records is another Herculean task. Earlier, the KMC used to have a very big hall, kind of things, to keep all the documents of the patients. Now things have changed. How it was possible? It was possible because of particularly, the computer science engineering, the computer science engineers, because all those, the files, now it's digitized. Nobody, that keeps the files as it, everything is digitized. And there is advantage that, the other doctors can also see about if it is required. The doctors, many doctors, together they can take the decisions. All those things are possible because of the advancement in the technology. So of course, diagnosis, I don't have to tell, because a lot of MIT faculties are working on how to diagnose whatever kind of diseases they are able to diagnose in a very shortest period of time, that is quite possible now. And another thing is about the telemedicine. This, probably the COVID has taught us a lot of things on telemedicine, that, patients who are living in village, at that time they were not able to even to come to the hospital. They were not allowed. So such time, that it has taught us how, we can guide the patients through, the telemedicine, including, sometimes, of course, at the higher end, even the treatments and all those things can be, done. So that is the kind of the work that is happening in the health informatics domain. Now, MIT, if you look at a lot of projects, the going on between MIT and KMC. This is mainly because, they need, of course, you collaborate with them and then try to develop a lot of even the devices also. One example I will give you, which of course I shared this in my earlier speech also. MIT has computer science department has come out with a app called Thai app. Thai means mother. Of course, chief guest can easily understand because he is from this region itself. So Thai app mother, so the issue was like this. When the mother, when the woman, when the pregnancy starts, the months, 3 months, 6 months, like that. So they will be keep in touch with the Anganwadi workers. Okay, so these are all, the rural areas, touch with them, what is to be done, when to reach doctors, what has happened. And after the delivery, taking care of both mother as well as the, the baby. The problem is everything goes right when till the pregnancy period. Once the delivery happens, what happens? The culture is such that the mother goes to her mother's house, the parents' house. So there, the baby and mother will be looked after. So once they go there, what happens? That there is a disconnect between Anganwadi workers and the mother. So there is no one there to guide them properly, and the Anganwadi worker is having the history of the patient, but in the new place nobody is there. So they came up, the district administration DC came up with this problem, whether this problem can be solved. So they came up with a app called Thai app, wherein through the mobile, it's a mobile app, so they can interact with the Anganwadi workers anywhere they are, they can be anywhere. They can be even outside the state also. So they can interact and the problem can be solved. See, for example, at what age, what months the baby should take the vaccination. So such informations can be easily transferred and it can be recorded and it will be known to the Anganwadi workers in terms, the known to the doctors also. Such kind of apps are also, the developing. There are many things which, the School of Computer Engineering department, that has taken up for the societal cause. So, so this is all about, something about, the health informatics which I wanted to share. Now coming to some of you have come from outside, a brief about, the Manipal, our founder, late Dr. T.M.A. Pai. So his vision was that, that we can improve the society, both socially as well as economically, only through education and healthcare. So that's how, he has started the medical college in the year 1953 here in Manipal. So of course, subsequently, many colleges have come up, including MIT in 1957. Today, if you look at his vision, how it has transformed the whole society in and around. Look at the education. In terms of education, today, we have 4 campuses in India and 2 campuses outside, the abroad. And some abroad, of course, we are the first one to go out and set up the engineering college in Dubai. And also, of course, under the group, we have other institutions, universities like, the MUG, that is Manipal University, Jaipur, and also we have Sikkim University. So education wise, I think today if you talk about education, they look at Manipal model, how it has the grown up, how it has the transformed the education, transformed the people throughout their career. So when you come to healthcare, again, it all started with one medical, the hospital here in Manipal, KMC hospital still exists. It's almost more than the 2,000 bedded hospital. And then of course we set up some of the corporate hospitals, including the major one in Bangalore. And today we have a network of the medical, hospitals across the country. So today we are #1 healthcare providers in India. So that's how it has grown up. It was his vision that one should look, if you want to serve the society, so you must give the education to the people, the society, and also provide good health care, which both of these fulfill today in Manipal. Thank you very much for coming in. The good numbers I heard. They have screened, and then finally they got 45 best papers. And also I heard there were a lot of the good sessions, and keynote speakers were really good. And I am sure this conference is going to help you in terms of taking your research further, and also networking. It also builds the networking. And MAHE is always the believes in collaboration, whoever it is. Today, if you collaborate with the other universities, so you really go big. So that's what we believe. Thank you very much for the coming in large numbers. Also, I thank the conveners and co-conveners who are here and conducted this the conference successfully. Thank you very much. Thanks to, of course, our chief guest Vadiraj Bhatt. He's our own person. He's from this region only, and coming from Bangalore, and then he's going to address now. And also I heard that just before this valedictory function, he gave a talk also. I am sure you must have impressed with this talk. And also, of course, any programs of this kind needs some support. Financial support is required, without which it's very difficult to conduct. So here SBI chief manager is here, Ramesh from our main branch here, and he has supported a lot. And thank you very much, Ramesh, for being the support. Not this function, not just this function. They support in even the Manipal Marathon, and major any events is there. They are very kind to support us. Thank you very much. And thanks to all those who are the present here. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for giving an overview of how MAHE has been forefront of integrating technology with healthcare. We are privileged to have with us Mr. Vadiraj Bhatt, Principal Engineer at Cloudera Incorporation. With over 30 years of experience in enterprise system, distributed computing, and data platforms, he has played a key role in developing scalable database engines and GenAI solutions. An IIT Mumbai alumnus, Mr. Bhatt holds 6 US patents and has led impactful projects at Cisco and Skybase. He is also founder at OSAT, One School at a Time, a non-profit dedicated to rebuilding rural government schools across India. May I now request Sir to share his reflection on this conference.
Respected dignitaries on the stage, and wonderful researchers, and my colleagues and my friends, my heartfelt thanks to the conveners for inviting me here. I'm truly honored to be here on the stage, Because if you look at the titles, all of them have doctorates except me. I'm the only odd one in the out. So thanks for tolerating me. Manipal is for me is back home, because I've spent quite a lot of time here, and from Manipal and TMA Pai's vision perspective, I have benefited as well, because he just didn't establish engineering and medical fraternity. He also had other colleges across South Kendra, and one of the colleges from where I did my PU is Mahavira College in Mudbidri, which is also run by this same institution. So he was education for the masses. So his vision was amazing. And the other one was also banking. How can we forget banking? It all started here in Manipal. That's why I fondly call it as money fall, where the money falls. And that's why our SBI is here to catch it. So I'm truly honored. Thank you very much for inviting me. And I'm really thrilled to see Maher, becoming an international institution. It is need of the hour. If you look at so many of our engineers, and it has produced some of the best research scholars, industry experts, entrepreneurs. I mean, Satya Nadella, talk about it. Right? It all came from here. So it's truly what speaks to the volume of his vision and his effort. So thank you again for inviting me. Two things that I kind of wanted to impress upon in this conference. I've already spoke enough about technology in the my keynote. I don't want to bore you again. But two observations that I've seen as a 30 years of where I spent my industry and watching the trend happen. Recently I was listening to Dr. Gurraj Karjagi. I don't know how many of you know him. He's a great scholar. He's a doctorly, himself is an educationist. So he was quoting me a very interesting fact where he said, if you look back in last 2000 years, mathematically, what is the midpoint of the development? Meaning, when I say development, think of, knowledge, GDP, population, innovations, everything. So in the last 2000 years, from the AC to 2000, technically, if you just look at it, it must be 1000, right? Any guesses? What is the midpoint in terms of the development? It was 1900. That means whatever that has happened in the last 1900 happened in last 100 years in terms of the development, in terms of technology, in terms of GDP, in terms of knowledge, in terms of population, in terms of production, everything. Whatever 1900 years worth was accomplished in 100 years. Now let us take this 100 years from 1900 to 2000. Where do you think is the midpoint? Any guesses now? No. I'm just 1900 to 2000. Anybody? 1992. That means whatever has happened in the 92 is happened in 8 years. Let's come to this century. We have not even finished it, right? We start from .com to .boom to .that to .this to now AI. So what I really wanted to stress here is whatever we think that we know is going to be obsolete very soon, right? So whatever our knowledge base, and that's a fear that I have. I mean, I was kind of living through this in every transition, in every disruption, and that's going to happen in the age of AI. Lot of it that you have to unlearn. But what we need to do is two things. One is learn how to unlearn, right? And learn to be uncomfortable. This is something that we don't want to do that, right? We are okay with being miserable. We are very comfortable being miserable. But when it comes to that uncertain things, that anxiety takes us away. That anxiety of uncertainty is kind of pulls it back. then we go back to that being miserable and comfortable, right? This is going to be a challenge. If you love uncertainty and get out of that comfort circle, this is the period. You love it. This disruption, it has a lot of power. Of course, there is a lot of other parts of it, right? Yes, with every innovation that comes. So with AI, and especially in the health, it's all about democratizing health. When Dr. Pai created this institution, he was not meaning for health to rich people alone. Education and health is an equalizer. It has to be for everybody. Doesn't matter who it is, right? That vision need to be carried. And I see his hospitals are springing over all over in India, right? That's to give that education to and quality healthcare. So we need to make use of this opportunity to improve quality of life, not life. There is a strong misconception that, oh, we live longer. Yes, we live longer, but that's a miserable life. If you look at past 60, 70, people are on pill power, not on willpower. We need to improve the quality of life, right? Not life. Because I've seen a lot of elderly blaming themselves, saying that, when am I dying? Because these people are not letting me die. That's not what life. We need quality of life. And with the AI coming into picture, I think this is the best way to make sure that the quality of life, improve life quality is something that an opportunity that we all need to learn. Now that's the first part. The second part of AI is all about changing our mindset again. So if you look back, our education system, which is actually a package, if I look at it, I kind of alluded it in my keynote. One of the biggest challenge was education system was that teacher teaches, student learns, teacher asks question, student answers question, teachers grades it, and that's the end of it. Now, when you come to the real world, that I've seen in many places, right? These children are known to answer, provided somebody asks questions. But when you come to real life, nobody is asking questions. And you have to ask questions, right? And you have no idea how to ask question. First, asking question was considered as inferior. It was seen as whether that person is stupid or arrogant, right? We discouraged this right from childhood. And that was never, came to use when we went to industry. I've seen so many people. When I train them, they'll say, do you know what you need to do? Yeah, yes, sir. No problem, sir. 3 days after that, what did you do? Sir, this is what I thought. Why didn't you ask questions? I didn't know whether I can ask questions. They are supposed to ask so many questions in life to come up, but they are not trained. In the age of AI, I specifically quoted saying that you may have all the answers, but those who ask very transformative question is the one who's going to win. You need to start asking questions. You need to start cultivate those behavior of or habit of asking questions. Doesn't matter. Asking question is what makes you start to learn. I mean, that was there in our scriptures, right? We are into exploration. But our education system kind of created it saying that, oh, you have to write CET and you need to answer these questions and these are most often asked questions and this is the how you need to answer. That's not going to help us and have never helped us. In the age of AI, those who ask the right question are going to be the big winners. So my suggestion is learn to ask these questions. Now you can ask questions with LLMs all the day you want. But open with others as well. It's a very collaborative world. Research, especially in these areas, we need to ask, develop that habit of asking questions and then start to explore uncharted territory, being uncertain and uncharted territory. And that's what's going to take us to the next level. And that's the development that I talked about. You've never seen this in the past, right? So in this 24 years, or it's 2026 now, I'm sure, I don't know where the midpoint is. maybe 2024, maybe COVID, God knows, that may be the midpoint. So we have so much, developed since then. So all we need to do is, in this excitement period, be uncomfortable. It's okay, right? There is a way, and we have gone through horrible things in our history, but we came on top because we had a very strong culture, we had a strong rooted background. The culture and background is all about one thing. No matter what the development is, no matter what the pace is, one thing that carries is your ethics, professionalism, and honesty. Those things are timeless characters, right? You cannot escape with that. As long as you are bound within that, enjoy the life. This is a very exciting period, and I'm sure, here people can hear, those who don't even know coding can start coding now, right? And those are the exciting times, and I'm very happy to be here. Thanks again for inviting me, and wish all the best for all the conference presentees and presenters and winners. Congratulate all of you, and thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your inspiring words. Your insights and experience have truly enriched us and offered valuable perspective to everyone present here. We are grateful for your time and encouragement. As a token of appreciation, I request Guest of Honor Dr. Zabahir to present a memento to the chief guest, Professor Vadiraj Bhatt. A conference is truly successful when it resonates with its participants. We would like to hear from you. I now invite few participants and session chairs to share their thought, key takeaways, and overall experience from this conference. Any session chairs? Oh, please.
So afternoon everyone. So I served as one of the session chairs in one of the tracks. I'm Dr. Srisha from St. Joseph Engineering College. So first is the organization of this conference was very good. So what I told the conveners is it is compact and efficient. So we also organize conferences where so too many elaborations are there. So this was how much you wanted, it was done that much compact and efficient, what I would term it as. And also everything started on time, presentations were good, and also there were diverse topics and also from diverse geographical locations the presenters were. So I think the conveners, co-conveners, and all the participants and faculty and MIT Manipal have done a good job at this. I wish good luck in the future conferences also.
Good afternoon to everyone. So today the conference was well organized and more informative because the session also it will be very engaging me, and thank you for giving me to the opportunities for to present my paper, and also I will be interact with researchers, and also overall the session was more valuable, and also the session key speakers also provided valuable information about the latest development in the field. So thank you for the respected dignitaries and conveners and co-conveners and faculties and all the department members. Thank you so much.
Any other session chairs?
Good evening, everyone. I am Asharatha Nayak, and I am the internal person, because both feedback given were external, and third time even I am telling the same, that it was well organized, very professional, and it was pleasure to serve as session chair in health informatics track. I was in health informatics track, and organized in such a way that there was one external session chair and one internal. It started, ended in time, and there was perfect coordination with the moderators. I should thank moderators who are our own research scholars who worked with us. So it was more of efficiently done, easily done with their technical support and time management. So thank you, organizing committee, for giving this opportunity, and I hope the same positive feedback will be there with all internal session chairs. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. To preside over this valedictory session, we are fortunate to have Dr. Chandrakala CB, Joint Director, MIT Manipal. Ma'am, may I now request you to deliver the presidential address?
Very good evening to all. Respected dignitaries on the dais, Mr. Wadi Rajbhat, guest of honor of today's function, Dr. Narayan Sabat sir, esteemed colleagues, conveners, deans, associate deans, faculty members, distinguished delegates, participants, and our own research scholars. On behalf of Team MIT, I extend heartfelt congratulations to all the contributors and participants who have collectively made this event a resounding success. The sessions have spotlighted the intersection of health informatics, intelligent systems, and robust networking technologies, fields essential to the transformation of healthcare and societal infrastructure. As we reflect on the shared learnings, it is evident that addressing the critical challenges of healthcare in terms of improved patient outcomes, data-driven decision-making, security, and global access obviously requires interdisciplinary collaboration and an unwavering commitment to ethical standards. The presence of distinguished experts in the keynote sessions and other sessions have greatly shaped our perspectives and also inspired us to strive for excellence. At MIT, we remain committed to fostering an environment where curiosity, teamwork, and social responsibility drives meaningful processes. So in 25's focus was on sustainable development. These goals reminded us to continue with quality education and innovation for a better tomorrow. To the organizing committee, conveners, faculties, research scholars, and student volunteers, your dedication and planning have been instrumental in orchestrating this impactful event. Special thanks to our sponsors and supporters for enabling this vibrant platform. I feel that we should carry on the connections which you have made and the kind of ideas which has been shared here, empowered to advance academic and practical contributions in health informatics and intelligent systems. My sincere appreciation and best wishes to everyone on your ongoing endeavors, and thank you for making HINT’25 a truly memorable experience. And once again, I thank you all for being present here for the past 2 days. Yes, and have a nice evening. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for your thoughtful and motivating message. As we approach the concluding moments of this wonderful conference, it is time to acknowledge the participation and valuable contribution of all our participants. Indeed, every participant here has played a vital role in making this event a grand success. Now, we take this moment to appreciate their efforts through the distribution of certificates of participation. I request Dr. Narayan Sabahid to kindly do the honors of presenting the certificates for offline participants. We now invite paper ID 221 speech-to-text transcription of Yakshagana performance, preserving linguistic feature with machine learning. The authors are Jayashree S. and Tanmay Sushil from Srinivas University. I would like to invite paper ID 312, Decoding Emotions of Speech, a Machine Learning Model, author Rakshita from Mahatma Gandhi Memorial College, Urdu. Thank you. A big round of applause for all the participants. Your presence and engagement added a great value to this conference. Now, we move on to most awaited moment of this conference, Best Paper. This Best Paper recognizes exceptional research that stands out for its originality, technical depth, and contribution to the field. It is a way of appreciating the hard work, dedication, and innovation demonstrated by the authors. The best paper is selected based on the track in which the paper was presented. May I now request Mr. Vadiraj Bhatt to kindly do the honor of presenting the best paper. So we have 5 best paper. One among them is offline. So I'll invite paper ID 221. Congratulations, madam. So next paper is paper ID 123. These are online participants. Paper ID 241. Paper ID 249. Paper ID 261. Congratulations to all the authors for this remarkable achievement. Every event is successful due to dedication of many individuals. To extend a gratitude on behalf of organizing team, I invite convener of this conference, Dr. Radhakrishna Bhatt, to propose vote of thanks.
Good evening, esteemed guests, distinguished participants, colleagues, my dear students, ladies and gentlemen. It is both an honor and privilege to stand before you today as we come to an end of what has been an exceptional and inspiring conference, HINT’25. We are filled with gratitude for the energy, intellect, and collaborative spirit that each of you has brought to this event. First and foremost, I would like to express our deepest gratitude to our keynote speaker, Mr. Vadiraj Bhatt sir. Thank you so much, sir. Also, I would like to express our gratitude to all other keynote speakers, Professor Vijay Chandrus from Chris Brits Private Limited, Mr. Jayant Lakwalli from Schneider Electric, Professor Raphael from Oregon State University, USA, Professor Shiva Pokhrel from Deakin University, Australia. They have graced us with their expertise, offering insights that have sparked new perspectives and opened doors to the exciting possibilities and collaborations. Thank you all of these speakers. We are also privileged to have our guest of honor, respected Dr. Narayan Sabait sir, Pro Vice Chancellor, Mahe Science and Technology, Mahe, Manipal, for taking the time out of his busy schedule to conclude this ceremony. Thank you so much, sir. Furthermore, I extend our sincere appreciation to our respected Joint Director of MIT Manipal, Dr. Chandrakala CB Madam, for presiding over this ceremony. Thank you so much, ma'am. I would also like to extend our gratitude to our beloved Director, Commander Dr. Anil Rana, MIT Manipal, and Mahe officials for their great support. I would also like to extend our gratitude to our beloved Dean, Associate Deans for their support in all aspects and dedication in organizing this conference. I want to express our deepest appreciation to the co-conveners, Dr. Deepaji and Dr. Anup Bhatt. Thank you both of you for your unconditional support. I thank organizers, including stage preparation, registration, Masters of Ceremonies, publication team, food arrangement team, non-teaching staff of School of Computer Engineering, volunteers, all session chairs, session coordinators, both research scholars and MTech students, and everyone who worked tirelessly behind the scenes, directly or indirectly, to make this conference a resounding success. Thank you, each one of you. Special thanks to Sahana Madam and team for your great support in the preparation of posters, banners, abstract proceedings, and many more. A special thanks to Dr. Andrew J. for overall support and help in the smooth conduction of the conference. I would like to take a moment to extend our gratitude to our generous sponsor, State Bank of India, Manipal, for their financial support. So to the participants, your active engagement and enthusiasm have been the heartbeat of this conference. Thank you so much. As we leave this space and return to our respective corners of the world, let us carry with us the inspiration and insights gained from this conference. May the relationships formed here be the seeds of future collaborations, and knowledge acquired be the fuel that propels us towards new horizons. In closing, I extend my heartfelt thanks to each and every one of you for making this conference a memorable and impactful experience. So the journey we embarked upon together over the past 2 days have been nothing short of extraordinary, and I'm confident that these ripple effects of our shared endeavors will be felt far beyond these conference walls. Let us give a big round of applause and heartfelt appreciation to all those who contributed to making this event a grand success. Finally, On behalf of the organizing committee, I would like to convey our gratitude to everyone here for taking the time to join us today and assisting us in making this event a huge success. Thank you each and every one of you.
Thank you, sir. With this, we come to end of our valedictory ceremony. We look forward to continued collaboration, learning and innovations in this exciting field. I request all the dignitaries, organizers and participants to come forward for a photo. Certificates for online participation will be emailed by the end of this week. Thank you and good evening.
Ready?
Bye. I'll see you later.
Last.
Okay, one of you.